What's up, guys? If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you already are part of one of these. So you're probably a social media marketing agency, you're a freelancer, or you're trying to get into Upwork middlemaning, and you're just trying to get clients through Upwork, outsource the work to a virtual assistant overseas, and then pocket the difference, manage the project, make sure the virtual assistant does what they have to do and takes care of the client property, right? Now, here's the thing. In this space, all the time, we hear people say, I make $10,000 a month. I'm going to show you how to make $10,000 a month. I made $10,000 a month as a 3-year-old. I made $10,000 a month in my first month as a new child, whatever, right? Now, is this all profit? Because that's what really matters. You could be making $100,000, $1 million per month, whatever. But if you're not profiting, then it doesn't really matter, right? Now, is this all profit? Probably not. And let me get into that. So my example is my agency stats right here. So I get 100% of my clients through Upwork, okay? And at my peak, I was at $17K a month with the agency. It was a really good month. We were really happy, of course. And on average, though, I do around $12K to around $14K a month. My goal is to try and 2x this by the end of the year. If I could do that, that would be sick. Being at $25K a month on average would be a really good feeling. Now, right now, what I'm doing is, testing new offers, testing new pricing, testing team structure, trying to see what is the most efficient way to kind of grow and get over the bottlenecks that I'm currently kind of facing. I'm also testing outreach that does not require Upwork. So that's kind of interesting, kind of fun. As soon as I have proof of concept, I'm going to be sharing it here. So make sure you subscribe. All right, gotta plug the channel in, guys. Subscribe. Come on. Now, for this video, what I'm going to be going through is two different options, okay? Two different paths that you can be taking. It's going to be the first path that you could take is the full-time path. So that's kind of like you're working full-time, 40 hours a week, and you're doing the service delivery yourself. Second path is going to be just part-time. Let's say you already have a job, you can't dedicate 40 hours a week, or you just feel like not working full-time and you want to just outsource as much as possible. I'm going to be using these variables here and then running them through each scenario to show you what you can expect depending on which path you choose, okay? So the first thing that is going to be a constant is the total revenue. Let's say in this scenario, you're making 10K a month, okay? Now, Upwork takes 10% project fee, but we won't be calculating this because the goal is to only start with Upwork and then transition outside of the platform. But warning, okay? Warning. When you're doing this, you have to be very, very careful because it is actually against Upwork's terms of service to take clients off of the platform without paying them a fee to transition them. I forgot what it was called, but it's a fee you have to pay. It is a really hefty fee. So if you don't want to take the risk, then, if you don't want to risk getting banned, then you probably shouldn't do this. But if you want to know some workarounds, then join Agency Go. It's a free community, free course. I have a hat that says Agency Go, so you know that it's legit. Okay, so go join it. I'll show you how to do your cover letter, pretty much help you with the portfolio, all of that, help you get your first few clients, okay? And yeah, I'll show you some secret strategies that I don't want to share on the YouTube channel. And also, we're going to assume that the project value averages out to $30 an hour, whether you're charging a flat fee or an hourly rate, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying the average is around $30 an hour in this scenario. But wait, $30 an hour is not enough. Guys, remember, this is just for beginners, okay? So if you're a beginner, if you're just getting started, you don't even know what to do, or maybe you've been trying SMMA for a while and you've just been failing, it hasn't been consistent. You need a predictable lead flow. Like, let's say you're just getting one new meeting a month, how are you going to grow a business with one new meeting a month? That makes no sense. So you need predictable lead flow and you need consistent new clients. Like this month, for example, we closed, I think, 4 or 5 new clients just off of Upwork alone. And look, the idea here is just to go through this process, okay? With Upwork, that is the idea. You want to start with a small service, okay? Start with something really, really basic that you can fulfill yourself. Next, you want to get comfy with the big 3, okay? And then, by the way, when I say fulfill it by yourself, like I said, there's another option where you don't have to fulfill it by yourself, but I'll get into that. Next, you have to get comfy with the big 3. Now, these are the little 3 right here, but sales, hiring, and client deliverables or service delivery. That's why I put SD, service delivery, okay? And then once you have this all under wraps, right? Once you're like, okay, sales calls, easy. I can take them, I can close them. I'm very confident with my ability to close sales and get clients and get appointments and whatnot. Hiring, easy. I have a training thing that I do. I have my SOPs. I already know how to, where to find people. I already know who's good, who's bad, all that kind of stuff. I'm good. Service delivery, another thing. My portfolio is stacked. My service delivery is really good. Clients love me. They're giving me reviews. They're giving me compliments and praises and whatnot, okay? So once you have all these under wraps, then you want to start increasing your prices, discovering other services that maybe are more high profit margin for your agency or as a freelancer. And that's kind of like what I'm doing right now, which is, I've already gotten comfy with the big three. We've already did the basic service. Right now we're increasing prices and kind of exploring with other stuff. For example, for a really long time, our average client ticket was actually around $30 an hour. That's why I'm using this number, because I've been on Upwork for quite a while, and I figured out that, man, most of the projects that are on Upwork are going to be around this rate, around $30 an hour. Of course, you're going to find some people for 50 or 60. Some people are going to find for like $15 an hour or $20 an hour or whatever. If you want to take on those small projects, if you're small, if you're just beginning, then I highly recommend taking on the cheap projects as well, because that's how you build your portfolio. But right now, what we're getting into is increasing the prices. So instead of charging people $30 an hour, we're looking into services, and actually we've closed 5 clients already for services where it's $100 an hour to work with us. So this has been something that's been really exciting, really interesting to see it actually work, right? Because if you're watching this video and you're a beginner, it's not a long time ago that I was in your shoes and kind of figuring out like, man, how do I make money online? I'm desperate. I got to figure this thing out. Another variable we're going to be assuming, or rather the calculation is going to turn out to, 10K a month at $30 an hour equals 333 hours per month on service delivery. Outreach takes around 40 hours per month for a consistent flow of meetings. That's just 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Okay, so real simple stuff, nothing crazy complex. Client and team communication is going to take around 20 hours per month, so that's around 5 hours per week. And let's say you want to spend around $250 a month on Upwork Connects. Now, hold on, do not leave the video yet, okay? There's a free way to also do this. I'll explain that in just a little bit. And then if you don't know what this is, if you don't know what Upwork Connects are, basically you can just think of them as like tokens that you use to apply for projects. And with this budget, $250 a month, you should be able to apply to around 8 projects a day. Might seem like a low amount, but you probably don't have enough money to go all out yet. Plus, you have the advantage of hyper personalizing your outreach, okay? So creating custom mini presentations or audits so that the prospective client that you're applying to understands your depth of knowledge in your service. That's what I did. When I was first beginning, I was doing super customized stuff, okay? And that's really the only way I could stand out, because it is competitive, I'm not gonna lie, but it's only competitive if you don't know what you're doing and if you're not slightly better than the rest of everybody else who's on the platform. And that's the goal with Agency Go and everything, is to try and make sure that you guys are going to be that top 10% that gets all these jobs, okay? Now, bonus, you don't have to pay for Upwork Connects if you're completely broke, okay? However, doing this route, it's gonna be really slow, and it is against their terms of service. Okay, so that's another thing where it's like you could get banned. So you have to be really careful here, especially if Upwork is like the main source of revenue for you. Then, you probably don't want to disrespect the platform. Okay. So what you're going to do though, if you don't care about getting banned, this is a hypothetical, theoretics, okay? Upwork admins or Upwork, CEO or whatever. I'm just theoretically speaking here. What you want to do is you want to find the website URL or social media handle in the project description and just directly reach out to them, okay? And then only do this if you're okay with the risk of getting banned. I can't say that enough. Only do it if you're okay with the risk of getting absolutely obliterated by the Upwork platform. There's a good chance it won't happen, just like, I don't know, maybe just don't mention you found them on Upwork. Just be like, hey, perfect timing. I had no idea you were on Upwork. I just thought I would reach out. I don't know. And we're going to assume that virtual assistants are $8 an hour, which is, it's not the absolute cheapest. It's also definitely not the most expensive, but I think that's like a good average wage for most virtual assistants that you can find and actually hire through Upwork. So not only can you get clients through Upwork, but you can hire your team members through Upwork as well, which is kind of cool. It's like all-in-one platform for making money if you do it properly. So now we have our constants, okay? We got all this. We understand that these are the constant variables we are going to be dealing with for these 2 scenarios that we're going to be discussing, okay? So the very first thing is full-time and doing service delivery. Now, before I get into that, though, just please keep in mind, revenue and expenses are rarely stagnant and just like super stable as an agency or freelancer, especially as a beginner. Maybe the more established ones have like, 12-month contracts with their clients, so they have really good predictability. But it's always going to go up and down as a beginner, okay? So these scenarios are ideal hypotheticals using realistic numbers. Like I said, I'm doing Upwork outreach and I'm getting clients right now through Upwork. So these are very realistic numbers. But even if we account for 20% margin of error, the profits are pretty decent for someone who's first diving into building an agency or freelancing. So first things first, let's get into the first option here, which is full-time and doing service delivery, okay? So scenario 1. Full-time plus doing service delivery. Let's say you're working 40 hours a week, which is going to be 160 hours per month that you're working. Now, outreach takes 40 hours per month for a consistent flow of meetings. We already went over that. Client and team communication is going to be 20 hours per month, so that's 5 hours per week. So the total is going to be 60 hours per month for outreach plus comms, okay? So we have the 40 here, we have the 20 here. It's going to equal out to 60 in total, okay? Now, that's what you're doing, okay? Your remaining time is going to be 100 hours per month, and you're going to be spending all this doing service delivery, okay? Because look, you have 40 hours per week, 160, right? We remove this 60. What do we have left? We got 100. All right, 10K a month at $30 an hour is 333 hours per month on service delivery. 333 hours per month minus the remaining ones that you have, minus 100 hours a month, equals 233 hours a month of service delivery that someone else must fulfill. This is where the virtual assistants come in. And after you are, used up your 100 hours a month, then you have no more hours per month. So you absolutely need virtual assistants, okay? You absolutely need these guys. And 233 hours times $8 an hour is going to be $1,864 a month spent on VAs. So the total for scenario one, revenue, you have 10K a month. Expenses is going to be $2,100 a month, right? So $1,800 spent on VAs, $250 a month spent on Upwork Connects. Now, if we do the math here, the profit's going to be $8,136 a month or $97,000 a year, which is an 81% profit margin, which is like really, really good, right? You're probably going to be doing a lot of work, but it's still, it's really good. And 40 hours a week is just a normal job, right? So having your own freedom of having your own clients and then being able to kind of like grow the business as you choose or slow down the business as you choose or whatever, that's kind of the freedom aspect of freelancing and trying to start a business like this. Now, let's say we have the 20% margin of error. Okay, so instead of $8,000 a month, you make 20% less one month, or there's just some calculation that's wrong here or whatever. Even in that scenario, you're still making $6,500 a month. It's $78,000 a year, and that's 65% profit margin. So, still pretty good. Definitely not as good as 81%, but 65% profit margins, take-home pay is still pretty decent. So that's kind of the first scenario here, okay? Now, what we have here is the second scenario. So this is if you're working part-time and you're trying to outsource as much of everything as possible, and you really just want to do the things that only you can do, and that it would be difficult to outsource, I guess. So for scenario two, if you follow this really long arrow, scenario two, this is part-time, outsource everything. Let's say you're just working 15 hours per week, and the previous one, scenario one, was 40 hours per week, but this one, 15 hours per week, so less than half the time, okay? So that means you only have 60 hours per month to dedicate it to trying to get clients and build this agency. Now, we know that client and team communication, that's all you're going to be doing. You're going to be communicating with clients. You're going to be coordinating with the team, and it's increased compared to the scenario one because there's more people to manage and more quality control to do. Now, your remaining time is 0 hours per month. Like I said, it's just going to be all spent on this, man. You're going to be talking to the team. You're going to be talking with clients. You're going to be making sure that everything is running smooth. You're basically a project manager. Still make a lot of money as a project manager, especially in this scenario, because the thing is we're skill stacking, right? So it's like you're a project manager for the small thing, but then once you have case studies, once you have proof of concept, and then you have enough profit to kind of invest that profit into your next service. Maybe it's a higher profit service you want to get into, and you start testing that. Possibilities are endless. But anyways, so you're spending all your time on client and team comms because every other aspect will be outsourced. Now, outreach takes 40 hours per month for consistent flow of meetings. Like I said earlier, 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And then on total, there's going to be 333 hours per month on service delivery. Okay, so with outreach, like let's say you're outsourcing outreach and you're outsourcing the service delivery, in total, that's 40 hours plus 333 hours. So that's total of 373 hours per month in labor that is needed. Now, we got another exclamation point here. So if you're wondering how in the world can you outsource outreach on Upwork without getting banned? Follow me on IG, shoot me a DM at Akash Conrad, and I'll give you access to my free course, Community Agency Go. There's no paid version, no paywalls, but I can't talk about this stuff on YouTube. Also, I know you're not dumb. Obviously, my plan is to make money off the community somehow. So to be completely transparent, I'm hoping if I can help enough people for free, then some of y'all will start making enough money to become a client of my own agency one day. But this plan only works if I first help you get clients. So our goals are directly aligned, okay? So we are incentivized in the right direction, man. I want to help you because if I help enough people, then hopefully down the line, some of you will, work with me. Now, virtual assistants, $8 an hour. We already know it's 373 hours per month in labor that's needed. We just multiply that by 8. It's going to equal $2,984 a month in VAs, okay? So the total for scenario 2, revenue was $10,000. Your expenses are increased $3,234 a month. $2,900 was spent on VAs, $250 a month spent on Upwork Connects. So your profit is $6,700 a month, or $81,000 a year, 67% profit margins. Now, again, with the 20% margin of error, let's say, you just dip down 20% for some reason, then you would be making $5,400 a month, which is $65K a year, and 54% profit margins. Now, keep in mind with this scenario, right? If you are working 60 hours a week, I believe that comes out to, what is that? 5412 divided by 60 hours a week. So you're getting paid pretty much $90 an hour, which is pretty decent. With no experience, it's kind of hard to get a job with that pays you $90 an hour, right? Now, obviously, you can't straight jump into this. Like I said, you're not going to be doing this in your first 60 days or in your first 90 days. Some of you guys will. Some of you definitely will. Majority of people, you're going to need to work your way up in skill stack and just be very, very reasonable with your expectations. Very logical, man. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, which is I hate gurus who exaggerate numbers or give unrealistic expectations. Like I just said, some people say, oh, you could do it in 90 days. You can do it in 30 days. Guaranteed. You can absolutely do it. This is easy. It's so simple. A baby can do it, blah, 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 blah. I think that can be very motivating, and it's true. Some people can do it, but not everyone is going to be able to actually accomplish that, because if you don't have the skill sets, and usually the people who do succeed way quicker than everybody else, they already have experience, but they just don't admit it. Like maybe they have a job in a sales department, so they're already a salesman. They already understand how to close clients. Maybe they were a project manager. Maybe they already worked at an agency. Maybe they were the head of marketing for another company, and they were like, I'm just going to have my own marketing thing, right? So when you hear all these stories of people going from like 0 to 10K in 30 days or 90 days or whatever, if you're a complete beginner with no experience, just don't expect that, because if you expect that, then you're going to be disappointed in yourself after 90 days and you're going to quit because you're going to think, oh, it doesn't work for me, which it will work for you. Trust me, if it works for someone like me, it will work for you. It will work for a majority of people. Some people, maybe you're bad with technology, then there's really not much I can do if you're bad with technology. That's obviously everything is online, so you kind of need to be good with tech. You don't need to be super good. You don't need to code and stuff like that. I'm just saying you need to know how to navigate the internet and whatnot. So the fact of the matter is the length of time to succeed in anything depends on you and understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, okay? So are you consistent? Do you give clients a good experience? Are you willing to improve your skill set? Are you patient, right? All of these factors and so many other little factors will determine how quickly you succeed, not only for Upwork, but for anything, for freelancing or for literally anything, for doing a backflip, for being a gymnast, for playing basketball, sports, whatever it is, okay? So do not let that discourage you from actually starting, because if someone like me can do this, like I said, majority of the population can too, and you can join my... All right, I'm not going to do it. Okay, moving on to the next thing, okay? So which of these paths did I choose and what are my profit margins? Originally, I chose path number 2. My goal was to outsource as much as possible so I could work as little as possible and make passive income. Now, the main reason I chose this was because I understood my own strengths and weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is that I suck at sales calls if I have no proof of concept in my service delivery. And when I was first starting smma, all the top gurus taught fake it till you make it, I guess, right? And that was the kind of approach. They're like, hey, you don't need any experience, just use another media buyer's case studies and close the client, and then have the client work with the media buyer. You just do the coordination, blah blah blah. You take the profit split or whatever, and it just does not match with my personality, man. I'm not good at doing that kind of stuff, which I learned the hard way. But I tried, and it didn't work. It is what it is. Also, when I first started Upwork, though, trying to grow my agency, my ability to focus and do boring work was basically non-existent. I could barely work for 2 hours without needing frequent breaks in between. I would stare at the clock, tell myself like, all right, let me just watch one more YouTube video. Let me just clean my room first. Let me just take a break and get some fresh air and some sunlight. Like, bro, am I a plant? Am I photosynthesizing? Why do I need fresh air and sunlight, man? I mean, it's good for you, but I couldn't sit down and do the work. I really, really struggled to just focus and do boring tasks, even though I knew that all these other people, because I was a part of communities and courses for a while, and I saw all these other people succeeding, and the fact of the matter is they were just doing the boring work for a lot longer than I was, and they were a lot more consistent than I was. It was all excuses, just excuses to avoid the discomfort of doing a boring task. Despite having a strong motivating factor to succeed, I've talked about this a few times, but I have immigrant parents who went through hell to come to America, raise me, raise my brother, make sure we were born in this country, had all the opportunities this country complimentary offers. And, the abuse they went through, the grueling hours they've worked through, the whole entire lives, the constant financial stress. I mean, you guys know the typical immigrant story, right? I just want to show them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that all of the hard work they did was not in vain. It wasn't for nothing, and that it's not going to go unnoticed, and it's not going to go unappreciated. Now, before I go on this tangent, I'm going to just go over my profit margins, okay? My profit margins right now are pretty sad. I'll be completely honest. They're actually worse than the examples that I listed in this video because I got way too ahead of myself and I overhired, I overpaid people, and like I said, I wanted passive income. So I was like, as soon as I got a client, I was outsourcing it. As soon as I got any new task, I was trying to outsource it. And when you try to outsource everything, it's just, you lose all your profit margin, man. You got to do some of the work yourself. And now I kind of hate passive income, or the idea of passive income, if I'm being honest. I feel like I should have never, fell for that BS. Sure, passive income, works if you're, investing into stocks or whatever, but if you're trying to grow a business, if you're trying to like exponentially increase your wealth, your income, then you can't be passive, dude, unless you're just winning the lottery and getting real lucky. But for everybody else out here who's not that lucky, you need to put in the work. So usually, to get to the numbers, usually I'm around 30% profit margin, which is painful to say out loud now that I have the perspective of what I want to accomplish. But I'm not perfect, figuring out things as I go. I can confidently get clients nowadays. I massively improve my ability to focus and do boring work. And I'm no longer going to be relaxed about having an inefficient team, overhiring people, overpaying people, and then just trying to outsource everything, okay? I'm going to get to the money, and I'm going to do that while providing massive value to my clients. So keep hustling, guys. I'll see you inside my free course and community, Agency Go. All right, see you.